Bounce, a short story by MC Nuffer. Today was the worst 3 months of my life. It began with me naked, cold, and alone. After suffering for weeks with a severely burned arm, a fever, and a badly sprained ankle, I'm glad to be back home in the real, in Cambridge, Maryland. Back on my job as a diesel mechanic and happy my injuries didn't travel home with me. Back home in the same clothes, at the same instant I left. My current real-world haunt is on the eastern shore of southern Chesapeake Bay. I picked this area for ease of finding food year-round in the other place. There aren't any large predators, at least not aggressive ones. If they exist, wolves haven't made their way this far east. This bouncing has happened for the last 3 years, 4 months, and 17 days. The stays in the other place are getting longer and longer. There, like here, nothing changes from visit to visit. I'd go crazy if I had to restart each time I was jerked there. When it happens, I know I'm still in Maryland, where Cambridge should be. The geography is the same. In the other place, after a bounce, the only difference is there are no people, no roads, and no buildings. Nothing to indicate humans have been there. Nothing except my camp, such as it is. Anyone who longs for a new pristine world is nuts. I no longer think I'm crazy. When in civilization, no one keeps track of me except my boss. He only cares if I show up for work and do the job. Before all this started, I was the poster boy for going out with the guys, loudly tipping back more than a few beers and joining them in casual tokes. I tried the live-in girlfriend bit, but the first two tired of my boys dropping by at all hours. So they ended my experiments in cohabitation. At 24, I felt I had plenty of time before age tapped my brakes, slowing me for the exit to a settled life. Now, time is a weird thing. I come back exactly as I was when I left. I don't age while I'm gone. Before my first trip, I was living in Massachusetts. The shift was only a few minutes, but it shook me and knocked out all my support pins. The next time, I spent 3 cold, wet days without fire until lightning struck nearby. I salvaged a burning stick and made a fire. It was like living at the Ritz with the warming heat and light to push away the darkness. That was long before I pulled up stakes and moved south. I don't know if I'm pushed to the extreme past, some post-human far future, or a parallel universe. There's no evidence to support any of those. The sun, moon, and night sky appear the same in both places. I've memorized the constellations. The only thing I know is certain is the land. It doesn't change between here and there, except for the absence of human impacts like building excavations, quay walls, or cuts through hills for highways. You have a lot of time to think when scraping hides for clothes. Life would be much easier if I could bring a simple knife. 2 years later, eyes follow me everywhere I go. Some are curious, and others wonder how I taste. Except for the occasional crow, none seem brave enough to enter my camp. By study and necessity, I've learned which local plants are edible and about the animals' natural habits. Deer abounds, but catching them is impossible, so I wait for them to step into my snares. Those need frequent checking. Take too long, and my catch will gnaw through the hardened leather thongs. Deadfalls and snares work reasonably well for smaller mammals. Roast rat isn't too bad. Along the coast, my diet is mainly seafood. Crabs, clams, fish. Cattail and dandelion roots provide starch in most seasons. I'm spending more time in the other place now than in the real. I wish whatever was doing this to me would make up its mind. Stop this yo-yo effect. Now that I'm confident the shifts will stay on a regular cycle, I've decided to move. If I want to improve my existence here, I need more than the Bay Shores can provide. I'm sure enough now in my skills to strike out northwest into Pennsylvania to the iron and coal deposits. Though confident, I'm not crazy enough to cross the bay in my canoe, so I'll stick close to the shoreline until I reach the North Bay. Garrett Island floats in the middle of the Susquehanna River and gives me a place to rest, refresh, and forage. Rounding the island, I sighted smoke. I grounded my boat, waiting to see how the fire traveled on the river's western shoreline. The smoke stayed constant for about an hour, not increasing, or decreasing, not moving. My hopes rise. Is this evidence of life? I mean, The intelligent, fire-controlling kind? And is it human? Being the only person in this world has driven me to some wild speculations, including the theory I might be trapped in some advanced alien civilization's terrarium. I found their campsite and determined they were human, or at least as human-limited as I am. One person stayed here. A hastily made bed of leaves, warm coals. One set of moccasin footprints, smaller than mine. Nothing was left behind except root tops and rabbit bones. I followed the trail. More speculation. If there's one here, could there be others? Tracking isn't hard. I've become an expert at following game trails. Still, I'm cautious, not wanting to run up their back unexpectedly. Their path stays to the easy ground, moving around higher hills, avoiding overgrown areas, and following the river south. By the stride, I can tell their pace is purposeful, neither leisurely nor hurried. It's a woman, so there won't be male posturing when we meet. She has her back to me, readying her night hole under the trees, upslope from the small gully I'll need to cross to get to her camp. Watching, I try to determine her skill level. Her clothes are reasonably well made, but she hasn't scraped off all the fur. You need to do that to keep insects from adopting your warmth as home. She's fit. Early 30s, I'd guess. Her movements are smooth, efficient, and well thought out. Well, no time like the present. I know my voice will startle her, so I wait until she turns in my direction to prevent making it worse by coming from behind. Hello? Her head jerked up. A bone knife flashed in her hand. Man, she's quick with that.
Stand where you are. Don't come any closer. Are you alone?
Her head was on a constant swivel, and I'm relieved she speaks modern English. Standing, I held my arms out. No weapons showing. I'm alone. Thought I was the only one here. My name is Nathan. I go by Nate. Tilting her head, still wary, she replied.
I'm Emma.
As she stood, her offhand grabbed her spear. Mine lies at my feet. I feel like a piece of meat she's inspecting, deciding if I'm too ripe to trust. Since I bounced in today, I don't have the beard I usually grow on extended stays. I hope it gives me a more civilized appearance than the usual barbarian one I sport. My hands and fingernails are clean. After a few minutes, she motioned for me to sit on the other side of her fire.
How long have you been here?
You mean this time?
Both.
The bounces, that's what I call them, started 5 years ago. I shifted when the smoke drifted my way. She tensed. As for this one, it was the day before yesterday. But I picked up your trail 10 days ago. 3 days ago here. Saw your campfire smoke from the other side of the river. Got delayed by a 15-mile offset. I sat cross-legged. She crouched, both feet planted, ready to jump, run, or fight.
I've been popping for about the same length of time. Where did you start?
She keeps her hand on her stone blade. Hard to miss her clenched grip.
And when? What year is this to you?
Massachusetts, New Bedford, south of I-195. For me, this is 2028. You? Emma's brows come together, unsettled.
New London, Connecticut. Navy base there. Same year for me, too. I'm hitching and backpacking when I'm on the road. Back in, you know?
You in the Navy? She picked up a twig, snapped it, and tossed half in the fire.
Was. Hospital corpsman. I quit. Or rather, was asked to leave. Medical discharge. I couldn't stand the returns. I went a little psycho. How do you handle it?
I'm a mechanic. Big trucks. Probably easier for me, living alone, not working with people. I've got a motorhome now. A small one to keep my home base close by.
Home base?
Yeah, you know, being sent back to the same place each time.
What do you mean?
This confused me. I leaned forward. Don't you get put back in the same place you bounce from? The face she's making. I've seen it before when someone thinks you're nuts or stupid.
No. I pop out wherever I am along my trip. I stopped traveling for a few months now and then to pick up odd jobs for cash and wait for the next shift.
She's interested now, relaxed enough to put aside her knife. Well, there's a difference. You don't have to cover the same ground twice. Where you headed? Anywhere in particular? Eyes down, Emma stirred the dirt in front of her.
A general southwest direction. You know, warmer winters. Maybe do the Huck Finn thing. Float down the Mississippi.
Her eyes came up.
Have you noticed the weather?
Yeah, same on both sides of a bounce and same time of day. I moved my hands to the side and leaned back. She twitched.
Where are you headed?
Eastern Pennsylvania. I know where some coal and iron ore deposits should be on the surface. Something's not right in her world. She covered her mouth. Her eyes got big, then she let out a belly laugh.
You gonna be this world's only blacksmith? Open up a shop?
Her laughter brings me to the same. No. Well, yes. I wanted to see if I could smelt some iron for tools, build a cabin and farm, improve my situation here. Don't suppose you've seen any other people, have you? She grinned.
No, you're the first to fall into my web.
Her comment startled me.
Hey, it was a joke. I'm not some interdimensional witch or anything.
Sorry, I said. So many things are rattling around in my brain about all this, ready to accept almost any explanation. Is that sadness or pity on her face? Hey, before I forget, if you pop out of here, I'm parked at the Conoco on Route 1 at the Berkeley exit. You're welcome to travel with me if you want. It's the Ranger motorhome with the red stripe, Maryland plates. If I go first, I'll wait for you. Her eyes shifted.
I'll think about it. Want some rabbit stew? I've got seasonings.
Without waiting for my answer, she says,
Go dig up some wild onions while I put the stew pot on.
You have a stew pot?
It's fired clay. I made it here. What do you call this place?
I call it the other.
Good enough, I suppose.
Emma stared into the evening sky, listening.
I've called it a lot of things. Mostly fuck this place.
It was the shortest stay I've had in years. We spent the night in Emma's camp. In the morning, we were bounced to my motorhome where I started. She arrived wearing her here clothes with a backpack at her feet. Not knowing how much time we have on this jump creates its own rules. Stick together. Drive to the closest point to her camp in the other place. Compare notes. And gorge on civilized food. As I drove, Emma asked,
Do you think this thing has a center? I mean, a place where the effect is stronger, more frequent? If we knew where we could get as far from it as possible.
Hadn't considered it. Possible, I guess. But I haven't seen a difference or patterns in jumps. Been all the way down to Florida and halfway back up the East Coast. Except for this quick bounce back, my bounces have been steady for several years. 6 months in the other, and about a week here. Emma slid her seat back and put her feet on the dash. So, we've both been on the move, in the real, for the same time. And now we've jumped together. That opens a lot more questions. Is it simple proximity or something else? Emma wants an answer I don't have. I wished I had just one, but I have a strong desire to please her. Or was it to protect her? I gave her the best I had. This can't be something natural. We're being jerked around. We never would have met if I didn't make my trip. When we entered Susquehanna State Park, by my reckoning, Emma's camp was less than a mile away, and my canoe a dozen miles further south as the crow flies. Longer on foot.
So we stay here and wait?
What's the longest you've been in the reel? I mean, in the last year or so?
2 weeks for me. How about you?
She tapped her knee, accenting her thoughts, wheels turning. About 10 days. So we may not have long before we bounce again. Let's use this time to plan and compare notes. Set some goals. Emma pulled her shirt away from her chest.
Well, if you don't mind, I'm going to get a shower first. Does the one in here work? Or do I need to use the camp?
After she showered, we talked for an hour before nature called. When I left the bathroom, she was rummaging around in the stacks I'd pulled down from the top sleepover to make room for her.
What's with all the cardboard tubes?
Maps, travel, geological surveys, historical weather patterns, vegetation, floodplains. I moved toward her to organize the mess and be closer to Emma.
Man, I wish I could carry a tenth of this along my travels. All I've got is a highway map and all these books. You've got a pretty sweet natural history library started here. Have you read them all?
Most of them. Just shove those out of the way. I've got some steaks in the fridge. You're not a vegetarian or vegan, are you?
Nope, meat eater.
Nudging me, she added.
I must say, I'm impressed. Steak on our first date. You know how to pick 'em. I looked like the wild woman of Borneo when you first saw me.
Yeah, I grinned. But you clean up nice. This feels too normal. Sitting in lawn chairs, waiting for the steaks to get a proper burn, and listening to families and other couples at nearby campsites. Some have been here a while. Strung decoration lights, comfortable furniture scattered under stretched awnings, As I tended our dinner, Emma asked,
Have you ever been touching something alive when you jumped?
I don't think so. Why?
You carry a lot of living things with you. More than 40 trillion non-human cells. Bacteria, viruses, and such. If your gut biome didn't go with you, you'd have a hell of a time with food digestion. End up with a compromised immune system. I've wondered if skin contact with another living being would cause them to travel with me.
Hesitating, she wistfully added,
I'd like to have a dog over there, the loneliness, you know.
She's slipping into a funk, thinking the same things that have battered me for so long. Will we be separated after connecting? We ate in silence, stealing glances at one another. I decided to get a dog. If it doesn't go with me when I bounce, it would be nice to have a companion in the real on returning. A mutt that's a few years old would do. Not a puppy needing training, but young enough to have most of its life ahead to share with me. I remember reading somewhere mixed breeds are smarter and less temperamental, more loyal than pure breeds. During my restless sleep, I felt my bed shift. A warm breath, a whisper in my ear.
Hope you don't mind. It's been so long for me.
Emma's words roused me. She reached under the blanket, finding me ready. The experience was primal, physical, and wonderfully beautiful. For the night, we're the only two people in both worlds. In the morning, we found a new friend sniffing at our door. No collar, and no one called his name. We called him Dog. I suppose our name to him was Humans. He's an attention hound, but soon learned to stay in his corner while we're on the move or shifting things around in the tight squeeze of our mobile nest. Another bounce and Dog came with us without needing to be touched. He doesn't mind. Here or there, it's all the same to him as long as he gets fed and petted. Like me, when you come right down to it. When we settled in for a nap after a lunch of rabbit stew, Emma broached the big thing.
The three of us, the chosen, what else can you call us without it seeming pathetic, are on a mission to nowhere.
She stopped and gave me a head tilt.
What's eating you, Nate?
What are we going to do if you get pregnant? We haven't been using any protection.
Not a problem. Hysterectomy when I was a teenager. Ovaries still there. Though I might get a little bitchy now and again.
Laughing, she added,
So watch your steps, sailor.
Emma's 12-year medical career in the Navy included 2 stints with the Marines as a combat-rated medic. It's made her more pragmatic than most women I've known. I didn't realize the Marine Corps borrowed them from the Navy.
It isn't really borrowing, since the Marines are a part of the Navy, though they don't like to be reminded of that.
Our canoe is full. We've added another outrigger on the other side for better stability. Things are easier now with another set of hands and another pair of eyes. Emma suggested we build a sturdier boat when we get iron tools, one to take sails. Dog makes our evenings both in the other and the real, more like family. 10th anniversary. Emma leaned back into my shoulder, her welcome nest every night.
You know, not aging here has its benefits. No accumulation of aches and pains. Life's getting easier on this homestead.
She rose up on an elbow.
Are you really serious about building a boat on Lake Erie?
Before I answered, Dog came around the corner of our porch with a dead rabbit in his jaws. After dropping it at my feet, he tries to worm his way between us. Emma gives way. Dog has the most soulful eyes when he wants attention. Baby, his mate, stays under the porch most of the time, tending to her newborn pups. Later that afternoon, while I was working at the forge when I heard Emma yell,
Nate, come quick.
Emma's shouts were a cross between alarm and confusion. I sprinted from the workshop to the garden patch, halting after 10 long strides 20 feet from Emma. She was staring at 6 children. They stood in a line at the garden's edge, dressed in simple coveralls. They're wearing shoes, honest-to-God manufactured shoes. Of the cherub faces, the oldest looked about 6, and the youngest, maybe 4. When I joined Emma, I noticed a strangeness about them. They stood side by side, shifting their weight from one foot to the other in silence, until Dog came bounding into view.
Look, over there, everyone!
One of the oldest screamed with the delight only small children can muster.
It's Dog!
I was gobsmacked by their sudden appearance and that they knew Dog's name. Too weird, too fast. We approached the children slowly, Emma's hand in mine. Crouching down at eye level with the tallest, I asked, "Where did you come from? Are your parents nearby? Any others? Any adults?" The child in front of me, a girl I guessed, replied,
They said you would take care of us.
"Who told you that?"
The ones who brought us here, silly.
And who are they? The girl stared at me like I was a dunce, pointed skyward. I tilted my head up, expecting to see something. Nothing. I stood and took a step back to Emma's side. She wrapped her arm in mine, then whispered,
Nate, they have webbed fingers, and look at their ears.
The children weren't the only new things. At the edge of the woods, behind the children, was a row of shipping containers. I knew what was inside. I also knew our days of bouncing were over. I'm glad we have the goats.